We made it back.
What is with you and these sounds?
Hey, listen, I need all the energy. Now, I don't know how to make it stop. We made it. Oh, no.
Okay, come on now.
I can't stop it. We made it back. Oh, my God. See, I tried, Brian.
She has no production skills.
I can't make it stop.
Stop it.
All right, listen. We barely made it out of the weather from D.C., but we are here.
Yeah, it was a challenge. So, as most of you know, the service for Richard Smallwood was great.
Beautiful.
And it just don't happen like it happens. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of attention to detail. And like weeks ago, I was been talking to Donald Lawrence. So he and I was working out the music part. And he's very like meticulous and everything. Every note, everything has to be right.
And it was. And the hard work that y'all did, it definitely exhibited itself yesterday. It was the most beautiful service. I think Richard would have been proud of it. He deserved every bit of it. And it was beautiful.
He asked me to come up with these transitions, like from song to song. So I would do it. I'm like, great, my work is done. Then here come Donald again. Well, what about if we don't do that song? Can you do a transition and go from this song to this song? I'm like, I don't. But we got it all done. All the pieces fell in place, and.
But I think too, a lot of your work is background work because the John Q public doesn't really understand transition. So all they hear is the music, and it's like amazing music, but they don't understand how hard you work to make it flow and blend, and then you got your voices, and you have to make sure. So kudos to you. Let me see if I can stop it. Kudos to you. All right, very quickly, because we have two special guests tonight as we wrap up our tribute to Mr. Richard Smallwood. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap of what we saw yesterday. And this was the program that they handed out to us. I searched the program looking for you, obviously, at all my attention. So I found you in the little program.
We took that right before.
This was, right, let's go over just a little bit. This was a picture of Vision, and I don't think everybody was actually in that picture, but it was almost everybody that we could catch right before we went on stage. So this was backstage.
Denisha was able to get a little bit of that anointing from the prayer.
Yes. Oh, such an anointing prayer. And then this was everybody singing. Felicia Rashad, just beautiful, graceful. Oh, I love her. And this is Bryant going to work, doing what he does. And of course, I tried to catch you every time they put you up. And these are the kids. They came into support.
Yeah, my kids came. Yes. Bria, her husband Matt, Brandon.
And then we ran into Mr. Kirk Franklin in the airport, who was, I'll stop it here because I was surprised Kirk was like fanning out over you because he said that he looked up to you and Richard in the early days. And so when he went out, he was watching y'all and he said he was really inspired. This is what he said. This is what Kirk said. He was really inspired. He was just so happy to see you in the airport. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
Kirk's
I didn't even know
he
walked. You caught it first.
He walked to you.
Up on me.
I had no idea. We were like, huh? So yes, he definitely got his flowers from Kirk Franklin yesterday. Brian, you deserved it. You did a great job. And I know it was hard for you as well. Like, I don't want to remiss that you lost a great and dear friend. And so I know it's a struggle to play those songs and, you're feeling his spirit. I'm sure you had your
emotions.
feelings. Absolutely. All right. And so this, I just stuck in here to show y'all, child. We just made it out because we were supposed to come home this morning at 6 a.m. And the Lord told us, see if there's a flight. So we left immediately after the service yesterday. And this is us making it home in the nick of time. And then these are all the flights that they canceled this morning. And of course, I couldn't stop without giving you guys the grand finale. So Vision tore it up. They were just like the record. So here they are. Listen, when I tell you not one note was missed, it was like heaven. It was beautiful. And I don't know how it came across over the screen, but it was just amazing. Amazing. Good job, honey.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to acknowledge a couple of people in the chat, and then we're going to go right into our show for this evening. Bryant?
Oh, I see. We're going to acknowledge some more of you after our guests because I don't want to hold them up. But we got Warren Shad, who is here with us, and Warren is the maker of the piano that you saw on stage.
Yes.
That's his piano, and he has some other pianos in the Vatican. He's just doing an amazing job, and kudos to Warren. Thank you for letting us play your wonderful piano.
Now that's a flex, because how many people do you know that can make a piano? What? Yeah, and on that piano, if I can catch a clip of it, I'll put it back up. It actually says, is it Shad on the piano. Amazing.
When the other guy played I read somebody say he played the shad out of that piano.
Yes. My God.
Joseph.
And then we have a couple.
I tried to play the shad out of that piano.
My God. All right, so we are going to, our first guest this evening is
Roger Holmes. And when I first started playing with Roger, and he and his lovely wife Betty, Roger was the manager for Richard Smallwood. So he was there. He looked out not only for Richard, but he looked out for all of us. I think I said this on a previous broadcast that when I plug my stuff up into the hotel, because their voltage is different. Roger was the one who helped me get all my gear back and everything fixed, and he was in there doing wires and everything. So he was just always there like for the group. And
Yes.
then later, his wife came on, and then she was managing doing plane tickets and ground travel and all that stuff. And
So boots
you
on the
guys are
ground.
just like so much appreciated. So that's Roger,
And then we have.
and then we also have Jerome Bell, who started out with Richard,
Hmm.
and Jerome was the road manager, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying something wrong. But what Jerome would go and make sure everything is okay before Richard got in the building, and he
Yes.
makes sure he get all the loot, make sure they have all the
I
loot.
know that's right. Better get that money right
Jerome was rough.
before we cross that
You know,
stage. We're not playing these games.
because some of the promoters will try to get
Hmm.
over on you, and
Yes.
it's not just going somewhere to minister. There's cost involved. You got plane tickets, you got
Yeah.
you know ground transportation, you got hotels, and so Jerome was there to help with that.
Yes. So without further ado, our two special guests are here live with us. Bryant,
Yes,
it's your
yes,
first
yes.
question.
Are
Thank
you
you,
guys
gentlemen.
here? Let me get a little test from your voice.
Can we hear you? Are,
Hey,
uh,
testing 1 2.
wonderful.
Okay.
Loud and clear. Loud and
Testing
clear.
to the
That's
people.
JB.
Testing to
That's
the people.
JB's radio voice.
Yes.
He's a radio.
That
Ah,
and when I first came on,
JB.
Yeah.
um,
RH.
Jerome was a radio announcer, so
Oh,
he
really?
yeah, so he would
Oh.
always use his radio voice. He
That's
would let me stay at his home when I would go to rehearsals with Richard or we had a gig. He was the first person to reach out to me and let me stay at his home.
I apologize, Jerome. Whatever you went through during that
And
time, I
he would
apologize.
So
call
you do know. You learn quick. Yeah.
Oh,
he would be like, "Welcome to the Bell Estate." So dramatic. But yeah, let's start off
let's
with
go.
Roger. Roger,
Yeah.
how
Wow.
did it all happen for you? Welcome.
welcome.
Well, I'm so proud of you guys. What you're doing there, and it's good to see JB. I haven't seen him in a long
Oh,
time.
Good to see you, Roger. Sorry we didn't get the chance to see you on yesterday, but I understand
I
you were
the
was
one of the
weather.
ones that were
I was
cautious
telling
about the weather.
I was telling her, yeah, I had booked 5 tickets. I was going to bring my whole family. Tegan wanted to come.
Oh,
She's been
Yes.
her Uncle Richard since she was born. Um,
Yeah.
and the airplane people told us, well, you may get there, but you won't get back.
right.
So
Right.
we got a 7-month-old grandbaby, and I
No, I
couldn't
wouldn't have
come.
done it either. Oh,
So it
In
hurt my
fact,
heart
on
so
that note,
bad.
we have people that are still here. Lynette Hawkins Stevens from
yeah.
Oakland won't be able to leave here until Tuesday.
My
Huh.
God.
And yeah, Dottie is still here in the DMV until tomorrow.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I couldn't, but it hurt our heart. But we watched it, the whole thing on screen. It was fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody. I don't know who put it together, but it was a good job. Everybody did great.
Was.
How did I meet? You asked me how I met Richard. I was asking you, Jerome. You may know. When was Psalms? Was that
Yeah,
81?
that was the second album. It wasn't 90. Was it not? No, it was no, it was long before 91, Raj.
Oh, I think it was 81.
Psalms was the second album, and Roger was the engineer, I believe, at the studio. And that turned into whatever the conversations were. Next we knew, Roger was managing. That was in the 80s, Raj.
Yeah,
That had to be somewhere around maybe 83, 80,
yeah,
83, 84. Yeah.
somewhere in there. But how it came about, and I've heard Richard talk about this. Richard had a uh, interesting time in Nashville. He came and his first record, the Richard Smallwood Singers, I thought was fabulous. But him and the producer kind of butted heads on it. They were telling him he wasn't a good writer and
Wow.
yada. And uh, and he was at Benson Records at the time.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
then one of the producers from Benson, I can't remember that guy's name, came and said, "We got this little group that we want you to do, but before that, we've got 2 or 3 artists we want you to do." So I did before Richard. I did this song called "Perfect Peace" with Keith Pringle. I did
Oh
that,
That's
wow.
your guy too.
Yeah, that's what I was playing
and,
with before I met Richard. Okay.
Mm.
Who
and
I
then
had also been a part of his management.
Wow.
yeah,
Tight
and
circle.
then I did something with Vanessa Bell. I can't, but anyway, it finally rolled up. We got to Richard, and
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Look, guys," they said. they said, if you'll do the record for us for $17,000,
Wow.
they said, we know that. I said, 17,000 for vocals? He said, no, the whole thing, 17,000. And I said, okay, let me try it. So Richard and he said, now they're going to use their own band. I said, wait a minute, this is Music Sis Nashville. You can't bring. We got these guys. But when I heard them, I apologized to him. I said, you absolutely don't listen to me. You have to use their band. And it was Tim, and I can't remember who the
Tim
drummer was.
Lindsay. Was it Blues Web
No, it wasn't
or
blues. It wasn't blues.
Jeff Davis?
No, it wasn't Jeff. It was a young man they had way
Okay.
before those guys came
Okay.
along. I can't remember his name. Carolee or somebody could tell us, but I can't remember his name. Um, and
Oh, I don't remember his name either.
Thomas Whitfield. I had done some records on the Whitfield singers, and so
Wow.
Thomas was in there, and he was playing organ on that first record. And uh, Bryant, you'll appreciate this. Back then, they had what was called a Hot Rod Rhodes, and it was brand new, and no Richard never heard one.
Right.
And so I said, Richard, let me get this Hot Rod Rhodes in here. So that's the keyboard that's on there, and
Wow.
Richard was godsmacked with it because he said, I never heard anything like that. But it was something they did to the Rhodes. I don't know what they did to it. Um, but anyway, we did the record and Psalms, and it was great. It turned out great, and I think it stayed on the charts for Jerome knows better than me. I think it was 81 weeks or something like that. Jerome.
Yeah, sir.
Wow.
It was well over 2 years, and it was just
Jesus.
unbelievable. There was another name, but I know it wasn't him. I was still trying to stuck on that who that drummer was, but I know Danny McCrimmon played in the earlier year, but he wasn't playing by then.
Was it Spike
Uh,
Somebody
Spike
threw in the
McCoy?
I
chat
think that's who
Spike
it was.
McCrae.
Spike.
Spike McCrae. Anthony Spike McCrae. That's
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Mr.
I
Willis
think
Hickerson Jr. said that.
I
Willis
think that I
All
Hickerson.
think
right.
that's
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
I think
Spike.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Because we had so many nicknames. That's why my mama never liked nicknames because you use the nickname, then you can't remember what
Yeah,
the
can't remember the
real
real
name
name.
is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that it was him. So anyway, they it was great. I mean, we spent a lot of time there working on that record. Wesley, he was working those folks like Hebrew slaves. I mean, he was getting those vocals perfect, and he did get
Wow.
them. Wesley was a taskmaster. Y'all, you know that, but
Yeah. Wesley Boyd.
yeah, Wesley, he worked them,
Ah,
and uh, we cut the record, and I remember Thomas Whitfield. I remember him leaning back. I forget what song he played organ on. He played on one or two, but he leaned back and he said, "Mark my words, brother Roger. This Richard Smallwood is going to make a mark."
Yes. Yes.
And Richard made a mark.
Yes, he
Wow.
did.
for sure. For sure.
So we did that record, and Richard and I were spending a lot of time there in the studio. In our little studio here in Nashville, we had a saying: "You can holler for a dollar. If you could just get up to the microphone and spit something out, we'd record you." And I was sick of it.
Mm.
I was sick of doing that. So I spent enough time with Richard. I said, Richard, have you got a manager? And he said, no. I said, well, if you would consider it, I think I'd like to manage you. He said, well, I'm doing this play right now. Sing the Hell You Sing. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he said, so yeah, let's do it. I need to finish that up, but when we get done with that, we'll be ready to go. And so that's how it started.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that was definitely 83, 84. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that how it started. And we, I tell you a funny thing about Sing the Hell Sing. I don't think she would mind. Jennifer Holiday, as most of you know, was in that play,
Mm-hmm.
and still had a lot of weight. But there was a time after that, me and Richard went to get her to go. We were going to do Good Morning America or something, and
Hmm.
Jennifer was going to go. And so I'm in the in the elevator with Richard, and we're standing there waiting. And me and this another girl came in, and so we're standing there. And Richard said, "Roger, what you waiting on?" I said, "Waiting on Jennifer." And Jennifer looked at me. I said, "Roger, I'm Jennifer." I said,
Oh my God.
"What?" She had lost all that weight. I didn't know,
Yes.
uh, but she's kept it off. I mean, she's done well with that. That was a funny one of the funny things I remember. Then we went for the next record. Brian, I think you came in on that next record. Um,
I didn't come till Portrait.
was that Port? I can't remember
I
what.
think that was
I
right
think
after
portraits.
Psalms.
Yeah, that was the third one. That was Pew because I think by then didn't we have Ricky LaFontaine at that point?
Yeah.
I think so. I think is that the one we
Yeah,
did in the Bahamas?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
Is that Pretty Ricky? Is what they call it?
And the shopping because the clothes, most of the clothes are from Oak Tree, and if those for those that remember Oak Tree, and
Rich, Rich
so
had a
just
shopping fetish.
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh.
That
I
Oh
that
didn't know
yeah.
man,
about that.
him and Edwin Hawkins. We were traveling one time, and him and Ed got together. I said, "Richard, now you don't need to go out with Ed and spend all that money because
Right.
they would spend thousands."
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Praise God.
I'm a witness.
Yes, that's a blessing.
As am I.
Yeah. So
Yes.
one time we was in Chicago, and we walked up on this beautiful white raincoat. It had it. I mean, it was gorgeous. $700.
Mm.
Richard bought that. So 2 or 3 years later, he said, "Roger, you remember that raincoat I bought?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I still have never wore it."
He was one of those just buy it because he liked it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
I
Yes.
went shopping with them one time, and it was
That's
him.
all it takes. One
At
time.
one time, and it was him, Edwin, and it might have been Donald. I'm not sure, but we go in there, and they wouldn't look at the price tag. They would just pick up what
You're
they
not
want,
supposed to.
right? And
Hmm.
I'm a sneaking looking at the price tag, like, oh, okay.
What they say, if you look, you
So
can't afford. That's what they
before we get to the
say.
register, I would say, so guys, look, I think I found some things down the street. You guys,
You
I'll
go,
meet up with y'all later.
Yeah.
don't get in
Right.
But now
trouble.
on the download, Richard would say before we went someplace, and I knew he was going with Edwin. He'd say, "Now I'm not going to spend a lot of money. I'm not going to spend a lot of money. Your money, spend what you want, but that's crazy."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we did the next record was Portrait. We did that. I think that was the next. We did in the Bahamas.
I remember that's when I came on.
What label was that on, Bell?
That's still, is it Onyx? That's still um I think that's still Onyx. I think that might have been the last Onyx. No, 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 no. Because this is where, and if my sister Renee is watching, because that's when Renee Boone came in. What was her name? Renee and those folks. I'm thinking that was I think that was, or maybe Portrait Psalms was the last. So whatever was that, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
It's
Psalms was
slipping.
the last Onyx one. I think that
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
We went from there.
Oh, like Myrrh or something along word,
Word,
word.
word. We went to Word.
Right,
That's
that's
right.
what I
Yeah.
remember.
Rejoice. Maybe it was word rejoice. They were, that's who that was.
We
Yeah,
went to Word, and we recorded um,
Portrait.
Portrait. We recorded Textures, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe
Yeah.
it was Textures, and we recorded the Center of My Joy album on Word.
Yeah, that was textures. Also I think the live at Howard University was on that also.
Was it? Yeah, they.
Because after that was I think because that Verity came after all of
Yeah,
those.
all
Yeah.
yeah all
Well,
yeah
Verity didn't, yeah, yeah, it was
yeah.
much
I can tell you how the
way
Verity
down the road.
part. My memory, I don't have much. It's like my hair. It's almost all
My
So
gone.
God.
so Roger, in traveling with Richard, Wasn't it your brother that had the tour buses? Because that was
Yeah,
my
he
first
still
Junior.
time.
he
That was
still
my
does.
first time getting on a tour bus, and it had 12
Really?
bunks. I
Yep.
was
Jimmy.
always on the bottom bunk, so I could just roll out and keep,
My
if
Yeah,
something
Jimmy.
jump
goodness.
off.
Help 'em, Lord.
Yeah, that was your brother's tour bus, and that's how we was traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he. Uh, they had a ACDC or somebody out, and they took a break, so we got the bus off while they were gone. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how that.
Yeah. One time we were on that bus, we woke up in the air.
My God.
We we were in the shop and something. They were fixing the bus while we were still in there, and the bus was up in the air on the thing. We
You
heard
know,
drills and stuff going on. Bzzz, bzzz.
we did. Me and my brother
It's
did
not the
something
light.
you shouldn't have done. We'd be going driving down the road, and he'd be driving. He'd get tired and want to go to the bathroom, and so he said, "Come drive." So we never stopped. He'd just stand up, and I'd get in the seat and drive. So we switched as we were driving.
Without your CDL?
Who cared about the CDL? So
We had we were on a mission from God. I
I
Look,
remember
y'all were driving
witnessing.
on faith.
yeah,
We were on a mission. I actually remember. I've actually seen them do that.
yeah.
Actually, it was
When we
quite
first
impressive. While
we
your life is in their hands, but
when we first did,
and
it, I remember
and
Carolina.
we were truly riding by faith because we would go to sleep and playing games and having a good time. And Richard did his stand up comedian and
Yeah.
Yeah,
all the girls. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. Lots of fun.
The band took over the back of the bus because we had all the video games and going
Yeah,
on.
the
Yeah.
back room.
Yeah.
when the girls saw what had happened, that I switched. They saw my brother. They knew he was driving, but then they saw him walking down the aisle to the bathroom. They started. I could hear him screaming. Everybody was like, ah! They thought nobody was driving the bus.
We were on
My God.
autopilot.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
So
wonder.
where do we go from here, Pooh? I don't know where you want to
Humble
go.
beginnings. So, Jerome, how did you meet Richard?
Well. I mean, it's a lot to that story. How I actually first when I first met Richard, he was a substitute music teacher, and he was our substitute music teacher. And but so that was that. This Richard Smallwood dude who looked like he stepped right out of GQ magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, somewhere at a church or whatever, this group, the Richard Smallwood singers, that's Mr. Smallwood from school. And let's see. And then later, I end up at the radio station, and and then so while being at the radio station, and then they were coming through for interviews and stuff. So we'd already known each other by the time I was at radio, and he was very excited and proud and all of that. And Wesley would always have me host because Wesley had the Wesley Boyd Gospel Music Workshop or something like that, and so Wesley would always have me host their events, and Richard was always there and on piano, and their special guest was always Edwin Hawkins. So
Right.
that kind of developed a couple of relationships simultaneously. So around 81, 82, and I'm thinking, Roger, you had to have been there then. I remember my first road trip with them was around that time, had to be 82 maybe. And we went to Houston, Texas. And no, Roger, no, you were not. So yeah, so we went to Houston, Texas, and for Southeast Inspirational Choir's anniversary.
Yeah.
The hit song from Southeast Inspirational was My Liberty,
Carl
of which
Preacher.
I called preacher Shirley Joyner, of which I have been credited with being the first person to play that song in the DC market.
Hmm.
And so when they got that I was coming, because Wesley and Richard had invited me, you should come, you should come. And so when I went with them, first of all, we thought the singer of, because that album was a black album with white writing, no pictures. So we kind of thought it'd be this Mahalia Jackson looking woman leading the song. And speaking of Yolanda Adams. And so when we got there and met her, she was far from Mahalia Jackson looking. Um, Uh, 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 but at
Mm.
that time, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, who was also their other special guest, Vanessa nor the Smallwood Sing, their first album had not come out yet. And so that was a very interesting time. But that's also when we met Vanessa. And of course, when we met Yolanda. So we all met them all together. And fast forward, I think I had done a couple of things with them. But what really became a continuous, interesting thing was Roger, you may remember by this time when the group was meeting on, I think it was Rhode Island Avenue. We used to meet the van or
Yep.
the bus.
I remember that.
And Pew, so one night, Tim, and this is before cell phones and all of this. So Tim had called me about 11:30 and was shocked that I had answered the phone. And so I'm saying, well, I mean, why are you shocked that I answered the phone? Richard took the phone from Tim and said, Romy, what are you doing at home? You need to get down here. And so when I said get down where, and didn't you get the mail that at that time I think it was Caroline, it was either Caroline or Dottie that used to mail out. This is before emails and texts and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They used to mail out the itinerary. So I said, yeah, I got it. I mean, I thought they was just letting me know where they was going. So I said, oh, how nice. So I didn't know I was supposed to be there and going also as the road manager. So I got there and went wherever it was. I think we were going to Pittsburgh, and I had begun to get the itineraries, and we had done 20 plus years ever since that day.
My
So
God,
so
my
so
God.
I never had a formal discussion of would you be the road manager. That
Right.
never happened. And so as we went on and we did many cruises and many places and literally the world. And at one time I was with Richard, and then I think Tremaine and Hawkins, they saw me with Richard. Also, well, you can help us. So next thing I knew, I was with several people, had begun my own company, Class International.
Mm.
You both would remember that because we also
Yeah,
represented Keith Pringle, you talked about earlier, Pew.
yeah.
And so we just did a lot, and it's just been a lot of years and a lot of great times. And yeah, yeah,
A lot of good
it's,
memories.
yeah,
How wonderful.
Richard
yeah.
asked me one time, but when I first started working with him back in Nashville, he said, "Roger, have you ever been around gospel music?" I said, "Well, I grew, my wife is a Southern gospel singer. I grew." He said, "No, this Southern gospel is not anything like black gospel."
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "Not stylistically or not in." I'm not sure what the other word would be, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, so I said, okay. So the first date I took a bus up and we went. I'll never forget this. We went, took them up to Newark, New Jersey. It was, and I mean, they were hanging off the rafters, and there were people. It was packed to the gills inside. The church probably sat 2,000. There's probably 3,000 in there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and um, so I said, okay, well, Richard, I'm going to go in here and settle up with the promoter, get the money in, and settle up.
Right.
So
Roger was showing me how to get the money. More
so
importantly, what to do when they don't have the money.
Okay.
My
well,
God.
this is my first one, and so the guy was brazen. He said, "Look, I don't got your money."
I
I
knew
said,
it.
"You
Where
don't have
they
the
do
money?
that at?
These
What?
people,
Lots of places.
you got people hanging off the rafters in here, and you're telling me you don't have the money? I don't have you." So I went out to the bus, and while I was in there arguing with this guy, some kids came by and picked up a garbage can and threw through the windshield of the bus. So I called the cops and I'm saying, tell them what happened. They said, okay, 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 and we'll be there after a while. They were in no hurry. So the promoter came out to the bus and he said, well, look, you can have me arrested, but they won't find me. He
Oh,
said, He said, "I've done this before. They won't find me." And so I got baptized pretty hard
Yes,
that.
immediately.
Roger wasn't
Isn't that the same
ready.
guy? That's the same guy, I think, or some guy one time said, "Sue me" or something. I
Yeah.
mean, they would say these things knowing that they could get around it or whatever. They'd done it
Wow.
before, and they would do it again to other
Wes-
artists. It was,
Wesley told me that one of the guys pulled a gun out, and laid it on the table, said, "I don't have your money. What you going to do about it?" Wesley
Oh
said,
my God. My God.
yeah.
so,
That's a
but
whole nother chapter of stories where that happened. And I think that this gentleman is gone on. I pause to say to be with the Lord. I'll just say has gone on.
That's
But but
You hear him?
listen, we're gonna speak the truth.
in your town, Pew, Roger, and I think by then there were many dates where Roger had just given me the information and did not go.
mhm.
Um, but he was always a phone call away, and this is still before cell phones, so somebody had to answer the phone. This was no time for busy signals and
Right.
no answers and all of that.
Yeah.
And also, if you had an answering machine, you could speak. Pick up, Rod, you there? Pick up.
Right.
you know. But this brother, his name was Jimmy, and y'all know who I'm talking about. But
Oh,
he
Philly.
he had the money, but he said half of it is for because he had the money for one show, but he wanted us to do half a show twice.
Jimmy
You
Walker.
know, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
put him out there.
he wants
Put
you
him
to
out
do
there.
He
half the
died.
show for this show and then do your other half on the second show. So this dude was raking in money for the Richard
Just
Smallwood for two
scamming
shows,
the
two
people.
packed, sold out shows,
Right.
but only wanted to pay one time. And then he says, "Look, I can't pay y'all
Wow.
all your money every time you come." So,
What?
uh, yeah, just those kinds of
That's
craziness.
yeah.
Let me tell you this. Rod says so. Rogers. He's get the money. I've always been JB. Get the money. We had him thinking we was going to do that second show. Got the money. Richard went on and he did that whole 40, 45 minutes.
Right.
I had their dressing room already cleaned out and
That's
stuff
right.
on the bus.
That's right.
Come off stage. I told them go straight to the bus, straight to the bus, straight to the bus, straight to the bus. I got stuff in the room. No, you don't have stuff in the room. Your stuff was everything was on the bus. We got on the bus and we pulled off got up out of there.
I know that's
And
right.
we had to stop at and I'll never forget this part also because we had to stop at a gas station and Jimmy was driving and we at the gas station while we're getting gas, um, Will Smith was at the gas station and and said, "Hey, who's on the bus?" And I told him the Richard Smallwood singers, and he put his head in the bus and said hello to the people. He said that one day he was going to get him a bus and ride around like
Oh.
this in Philly.
Oh
So that's
wow.
Will Smith's story, but a lot of
Wow.
crazy stuff. The
Wow.
gospel road has not been easy.
Listen.
back
Listen.
in back in the day, Jerome was, I think, one that taught me this. In
Uh-oh.
gospel music, Raj, have we gone gold yet? I said, gold? That's 500,000. So no, gospel goes 50,000. Gospel 50,000. Gospel. I said, well, we might hit that.
Oh my God. I mean, at that time, it was very
Yeah.
rare, if
Yeah.
any. I don't know, unless you were talking about resurfaced Mahalia Jackson pieces,
He had,
maybe Shirley Caesar. We didn't sell 500,000 copies and
Wow.
million copies and stuff like that. Those numbers were
those are
very,
rare.
very rare.
Yeah, they
Wow.
were rare, but that they were rare. Dolly Parton, as big as she was, she didn't sell uh, 100,000 records. She said until the '80s. I mean, so it was hard to sell records back then. But when we had recorded, you asked about Zomba. I'll tell you how that came about. We had taken Richard to Sparrow Records. I had a friend, Bill Hearn, that ran Sparrow,
Pharaoh, yeah.
and we did one, I think, one record there. and there was a song on it called "His Mercy Endureth Forever."
Mm-hmm.
And Bill did not like that song. He told Richard, he said, "Richard, I don't want to put that out." He says, "It sounds like a death dirge." Man, Richard got his his hair went up on his head. A death dirge. I said, "Okay, Richard, calm down." And Bill, I said, "Bill, you got to put it out. It's a good song, and people are going to love it." So anyway, we did that, and Richard was done with Sparrow at that time. He said, "If that's how they feel, I don't want to do that." So we had to find another place to go, and Zomba had just really started picking up at that time, and uh, so I went and worked a deal there with Paul Katz and them at Zomba, and the first record we did was Total Praise, Adoration.
Mm.
Mm.
And that was when Richard told me, he said, "Roger, I think I want to try something new on this record." I said, "What you want to try?" He said, "I'm not going to do the Smallwood Singers." "Oh, really?" "No, I'm going to do another uh, uh, congregational thing." And I said, "Well, what is it?" He said, "It's a choir that I'm putting together." And he said, "Handpicked people, handpicked. And some of them are Smallwoods, but some of them are other people."
Mm.
So uh, we did that, and that turned out to be his biggest record. I mean, Total Praise is just a
So,
monster.
what do you guys think about him not getting the recognition? Like, he never won a Grammy, which is unthinkable for
Rich,
Total Praise and songs of that caliber.
Richard never got the
It's
recognition that he deserved.
crazy.
He
Mm.
never did. Richard's personality, and everybody here knows his personality. He was very meek and mild, and uh, if we would go to, I had to do all of that, which is what my job was, to go to the industry and be the face for that.
Right.
But uh, but Richard would sit back and just wait, and it just
Mm.
he got recognition, but not what I think he deserved. I mean,
Right.
Absolutely
Richard
not.
Richard is one of the golden
Sad.
nuggets of
Yeah.
gospel.
Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
indicative of the gospel industry, though? I know we see it on the secular side, but that it's just not the right time or what? Because it's not about the talent or the art.
No, the music business has never been about the talent.
That's
It's
true.
not about the
Never
talent.
been.
That's
It's
Yeah.
true.
it's
Well,
it's about there's a thing, the squeaky wheel
So
gets the
gets the
grease.
oil, right?
Yeah, and who are you oiling? I mean, all that comes into play there. Uh, there was a time where gospel music. I remember what's that guy JB, the Mighty Clouds of Joy.
yeah. Joe Lagon.
Lagan told me he said. Now this was in the gospel music I had nothing to do with. He said, "Man, we were on Peacock Records," and he said, "One we decided we told him we was going to get off the record label." And he said, "One Saturday morning, uh, some men showed up my door, and they said, 'We hear you on off Peacock Records.'" And they said he opened his jacket and had a gun. He said, "No, sir, I love Peacock Records." So
Listen, why it sound like death row out here? This is gospel. Why were the
Listen,
people so
Man,
I never had to
crazy?
deal. I never had to
gospel
deal with that, but some people did.
some
behind the
people
scenes in
definitely do.
gospel is gangster.
My
Behind the
gosh.
scenes.
But it you have to. But there was the I think the gospel the Grammy that Richard is associated with is was a compilation piece.
Right, right.
Um, but again, as you said, for a person who literally contributed so much that
Yes.
that literally, I mean, literally a David of our time,
Yes.
Right.
um, with songs that will surely last
Mhm.
uh, long after we're all gone, as was his vision.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and interestingly enough, he had a song called Vision before he got the group called Vision.
Right.
And so but yeah, but it was a while before Richard would even stand up and sing. He also used the piano as his crutch, to sit down, and he was comfortable there. He didn't want to stand up and sing, but then once he started standing up, you couldn't get him to sit down.
For a
And
long He did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a long time. Richard, uh, his music to this day. Now, those songs we did what 40 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, 40, whatever it was, and they are still vibrant today. Still,
Oh
people
yeah.
still
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah.
go
Yeah.
back to those songs.
Timeless.
Bill Gaither told me one time. He said, uh, "This was when we used to have a thing called Jesus My Boyfriend music. Everybody in gospel music was doing Jesus My Boyfriend. That's what we would say about certain songs." And uh, Bill Gaither, me and I were talking, and he said, "You know why I like Richard?" He said, "Because he's church. He's Sunday morning. He's not Saturday night clubs. Not Jesus My Boyfriend. He's
Right.
straight up church." And he was right. Richard was straight up church, Holy Ghost.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Anointed.
Well, go ahead.
Well, Jen, I would just wanted to personally thank
Thank
both of y'all for
Yes.
coming on the show. When I first came on the scene with Richard, of course he's busy, but it was either Roger or Jerome looked out for me. So you always Pewee, you got your room, you good, and it's just a memory how both of y'all always looked out for me personally, in addition to the rest of the group.
Boy, you
Yeah.
remember when we went on that boat and you blew up your keyboard, your DX?
Here we go again.
He blew
He
up that.
he will not let that go.
He
Pugh was
blew up
just
that
talking about
thing.
that earlier. I think probably before you came on,
Keyboard.
Rod.
It
But
How many
wasn't even.
times did you
And
do
on
that?
multiple
yeah,
occasions, I was blowing off. Oh
Wow.
yeah, that was on the ship.
Oh
Yeah,
my
on the
yeah,
ship.
God.
And so
yeah.
we
He
were
would bring all that stuff to my house, so I had to watch what he was plugging up in that room in my house. But
he blew it up. Somehow I think he plugged it
Help
in the
us.
wrong power thing or
Now you would
something.
have
But
thought if you did it once, you would have kind of
Man,
been cautious the
I'm
next
trying to
time.
get this gear working. I was gadget man.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, he
still
was
are.
always king of gadgets. He was
Yes.
king of
so
gadgets. My
we were,
son was just talking about John. I'm sorry, John. He's just one John now. Was talking
He
about
lost to John.
all of the gadgets. I think we were at when we were at your house, and you were the first one that had the that you stand up on it and ride around. I don't know what you call it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You rolled on it and I think you fell, but or you
Oh,
tried to ride it.
hey, that's not
now
the
he
part we're
putting your
talking about.
business in the street.
That's
Look,
I know that's not the part we're talking about. But just gadgets. When gadgets came out, and Pew was the first gave me my first computer. Uh,
I believe
it
it.
was a Mac something, and this was so that I could have an AOL email when people didn't even
Wait,
know.
how old are y'all?
He's
Listen,
old.
you say he's old, and you gave me your old computer.
My
So,
God, on
so,
today.
I'm not
yeah,
that old,
so,
but I can tell you Moses' last name.
I
so yeah,
have
that was back in the.
Right, 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 right. You
I
can
have
tell.
video footage of when I was rehearsing with Richard. I used to take it was a Mac Classic. Remember that, Roger? It was a black and white. That was before colors computers, and I was traveling with that computer. That's before we had like little dots for the metronome, and
Help us.
it's crazy.
Craziness,
To help
craziness.
us. But
Yes.
yeah, come up mighty long way. All of that really shows, it's just a whole lot. And as beautiful as the service was on yesterday, it
Yes.
was very difficult to encapsulate just all.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
You can't.
there was so much. They did a great job. I think it was.
You did.
It was very well done. I was definitely pleased, through it all, of how well done it was. Really, I'd
It
like
was
to
really
say, and but I think the more we saw and the more we heard, the more we thought of, and the
Yes,
stories like
yes.
this. And whenever you get up there, I know the difficulty of the officiant. As I have served in that capacity many times, and when you tell people 2 minutes, you already know that's not going to work. I mean, it's amazing how fast the time has gone as we are on your show, but these stories, and it's just so good. To God be the glory, that we're still here and we can share and tell these stories and carry
Yes.
Richard's legacy, and we're having our own legacy moments, and we're getting, and Roger, Holmes, and Betty being magnificent behind the scenes kind of people.
Yes.
A
Absolutely.
We
lot of
need
times the
that.
people
Right.
people don't get how important. I mean, things have to happen long before you
Yes.
get on stage. Things
Absolutely.
have to happen long before the
Right.
record comes out.
Right.
Some records take a whole year or two,
Right.
and some never make it out.
Right.
But there's work. It takes a lot of phone calls and a lot of meetings and all that sort of stuff. And so our appreciation, I will also say, goes to a person of Roger Holmes who believed, as you heard him say, believed so in Richard's
Yes.
talent and musician and music ministry and all that. That he helped to make it happen. I
Absolutely.
will
Absolutely.
say one crazy meeting I had to have was because now here's the thing you may not know: Vision was not intended to remain together.
Oh.
Right.
Vision was
For
put
a
together
long
to
time.
do this recording and then be on their way, you know.
Right.
Wow.
But it ended up, I guess, by the demand of the record. So it made sense. I believe, Roger, we did like two, maybe three at the most engagements where we had the Smallwood Singers and then we had Vision. But it was just too many people and too much and tremendously expensive to
Mhm.
try to keep doing. And the album had taken off like crazy. So it was just so it became Vision. But here was my thing as a road manager. I went from being on the road with 10 people to being on the road with 27 people,
Right.
you know, from 4 or 5 rooms to about
Right.
13,
Right.
14 rooms.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So it was a lot, but a lot of relationships have come out of that. A
Yes.
lot of people's ministries have grown out of that, including my own.
Because I'm
Um,
sorry, you're a pastor now, so forgive us for messing up your name, Jerome Bell. It's
oh, we're
Oh,
Pastor.
good. It ain't
It's
messed up.
Pastor.
Pastor
That's
Jerome
just
Bell.
Reverend
that's
Pastor.
just who we use. The
My
name ain't.
God.
But on that note, though, I will also let you know that Richard Lee Smallwood was the first person we were on that bus having fun and playing church. And Richard said, "Oh, you're going to be a pastor one day."
Yes.
And I said, "That's crazy. I don't even go to Sunday school or Bible study." So I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I didn't have to worry about that. But I
Yes.
remember as time went on and things got more serious concerning because I kind of felt like my radio work and my ministering through being a radio personality and emceeing and hosting shows and all of that. I felt like I was a minister when I was doing that. But Richard said, "No, that's good, but no."
We talked last
and
week the difference between being called and chosen and choosing to do the work. Because
oh
it's
yeah,
likely the people that, to your point, never wanted to or never even, God is calling you and it's nothing you can do about it. That makes it different than
well,
somebody
that was
who's,
me.
I want to be
Because
a
I was not
pastor.
one of the guys that grew
Right.
up saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be a preacher one day."
Right.
That was
Right.
crazy to me. But there
Right.
are those people. You're right. There are those people that is their aspiration,
Right.
and it was not mine. But I remember when I did my trial sermon, and Richard was there, and several of the Smallwood singers were at my trial sermon. And so I felt relieved. I finally had the trial sermon. Minister Jerome, and when I was hugging Richard, he said, "Yeah, yeah, this was good." But at the trial sermon, Richard said, "But no, this is just a stepping stone because you're gonna be a pastor."
That's right.
And
That's
he
right.
he made me so mad at my trial sermon because there's no way I just couldn't see it until the Lord really made it plain for
Amen.
me. And Richard was tremendously supportive of me in that regard and to pastoring and had been to every church. I mean, he was at churches. He was at anniversary celebrations, installations, and whenever and wherever he could. There's more stories on that, but
Yeah.
hey, y'all ain't got but so much
I
time.
know,
And so,
right. So we're gonna wrap, but again, we want to thank you guys so much for coming to our little show and sharing your memories with us as we wrap our tribute to Mr. Richard Smallwood. Any last comments? Anything you want to share? Funny stories?
okay, well,
Anything
first of
before we
all,
go?
this ain't no little show. This show is huge.
Well, listen, Pastor. Look, pray for us, Pastor.
This show is,
We're
and
just
it's just
having
good to see
fun. We're
Roger.
just
It's good
having
to see
fun.
Roger. It's
Oh,
good
I'm
to see
glad we
you,
can make this
Raj.
reunion for you guys. Roger, you
Good to
got
see you,
anything?
Raj.
Any last words, Roger, for us?
One thing Richard sent me his book, um, so a few years back, and there was a Pew. You may have been there. We were in Chicago, and this promoter, I'll never forget this guy. He was riding around in a white cut down Mercedes,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and it was an outdoor concert. So
Mm-hmm.
he's riding around with his arm hanging out, a low rider, I guess is what they call it. But he was doing his thing, riding around. And so Richard goes on stage, him and the group, and I'm running the soundboard, and it's out in the
Front house. Front of
front of
house.
the but it was outside.
Mm-hmm.
They had and for a covering, they had a tent. I had
Mm-hmm.
a parachute. The parachute
Mm-hmm.
was strapped up there. A huge wind came. Now, I'm not one to say God talks to me all the time, but I heard something in my head say,
yeah.
"Get them off stage now."
My God.
So in the middle of them singing, Richard's up singing, going, and Wes all of them's out there singing. I walk up. I said, "Off stage now."
Yeah.
Richard
Wow.
Richard didn't question. He just turned around and said, "Off stage." We walked off stage. I promise you. And Wesley said this. Wesley said, "The minute the last person's foot hit the ground,
Mm,
I
mm, mm,
saw
mm.
that parachute go woof,
My
and that whole
God.
floor
My God.
came down. The drums, blues was playing. Those was the piano was crushed. Everything was crushed.
Jesus.
It would have killed them.
Mm,
Yeah.
But
mm, mm.
but that was you talk about having church in that bus on the way home. They were having church on that.
I bet they were.
I remember that.
What a story. My God. So
Yeah.
quite literally, we might not have known the Richard Smallwood that we've known
This
had it not been for both Roger Holmes and Mr. Jerome Bell.
the stuff that was going on behind the scenes.
Well, listen, that's another show, another day for another. We're not going to do that today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. We appreciate you. And
Love
you're
you
welcome
guys. Thank
to
you
come
so
back
much.
anytime. We would love to have you again.
Thank
See
you.
you guys.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
All right, honey. So, what a show today. Such a great time. Again, I just want to, before I close, give you your kudos and my acknowledgement that, again, I know that you struggle with the loss of Richard, because how could you not? And to have taken on that duty of ensuring that he got what he deserved in his service, which he did, because it was absolutely beautiful. So shout
Yeah.
out to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And to give me, what's his name? Donald.
Donald Lawrence.
Yes, for putting on such a great experience for all of us. Any last words, honey, before we? Ooh, I can't go without giving y'all our scripture. So I want to thank God every time I remember you in my prayers. And this is again because we're always going to remember Richard, not just today. We're wrapping the tribute today, but he's always going to be a part of our lives. He's a part of everyone's lives. He has definitely done what he came to do, which was to make sure his music is going to outlast him, which it will. It has. And that, we're all just going to be here and grateful for that. So,
We may have to acknowledge a couple people before we sign off.
oh my God, there's so many of you
It's
guys
a
in
lot,
the chat.
but-
I don't know. Some of our regulars, Mr. Real Garfield Williams is here with
Oh,
us tonight.
Tegan is on. Tegan is Roger Holmes' daughter. What's up, Tegan?
Hi, Tegan. And then we had Tornita I saw. We have David Hackley. There's so many people here, you guys. We appreciate it.
Jerome's wife is on.
Yes, hello, wife.
Tania Bell.
Tornita Bell, yes.
I think I said it right.
Alvin Killebrew, Maureen Berry. Oh, I can't be remiss without saying my girl Jay was on. Janicia Felder was on tonight with us. Thank you, girl, for supporting us. Thank you to everybody, because again, we know that
John
you could be
Stanley, I think, is on.
anywhere.
John is Patti LaBelle's music director.
Oh, hello,
I
John.
believe he was at the show.
Yes.
Yeah, he
we
was
saw
there.
him. Yes, we saw him.
We saw the fur coat too.
Listen, let me tell y'all, the fur coats were fur coating yesterday. There was a lot of fur coats, and can I say it?
Right.
A lot of spray on beards, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad with the spray on beards. I think it's very meticulous. It looks very nice. It was nice. All right, let me go, because that's listen. Y'all
The
trying to
fur
get me in
coats was
trouble.
it? I saw
The fur
Dell.
coats weren't
Dell
big-
is on Vision.
weren't big to me.
I saw
But it was cold.
Rhonda.
It
of
was
course.
very cold, and yeah, it was appropriate.
Patrick Lundy,
Yes, to everybody.
Robbie Cunningham, Willis
keep
Hickerson. I want to shout out everybody.
I know. We love you guys. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week.